Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Hello and welcome to Snack Strange Things Afoot at the Circle K. We're your hosts. I'm Jim Bennett.
I'm from Hughes.
And welcome to this week's episode. I saw two films this week, John, and they both made me very happy. And I think the reason they both made me happy is because they both had Kurt Russell in them.
Okay, good.
I saw Fate of the Furious, Fate, Fast 8, Fate.
8.
Which was utter nonsense.
Of course.
And I loved every minute of it.
Of course.
The opening scenes are... I sent a message to you, I was like, you're going to love/hate these opening scenes, because they are... I mean... I'd say ridiculous, but that doesn't really explain how ridiculous they are.
Yeah.
And there's a whole section, not at the beginning, but towards the end of the film, where Jason Statham is fighting a load of guys, obviously, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
With a baby.
What do you mean he's fighting them with a baby? Do you mean he's fighting them whilst looking after a baby? Do you mean he's fighting them alongside a baby that is also fighting them? Or do you mean he's fighting them using a baby as a weapon?
All of the above. No, he's looking after a baby, and he's fighting them.
So it's a bit like Hard Boiled.
Yes, and that one episode of Power Rangers where the guy's supposed to be protecting the kid in a pram, and he ends up like using the pram to hit people with. Not sure the baby was okay.
I've not seen that.
It's rubbish. At one point, he puts headphones on the baby so that the baby can't hear gunshots and stuff. But I did think, because they're on a plane, I was just like, has this gone past the sublimely ridiculous to all out utter nuts, and he's going to jump out of the plane while holding this baby in a bassinet or like a car seat, essentially. But he didn't do that. And at the end of it, because he hadn't, I actually felt left out. I was just like, I kind of wanted him to jump out of a plane with a baby in a carrier, see how they pull that off, say that was okay. A lot of it doesn't make sense.
Why should it? Why let that get in the way of utter nonsense?
Yes. There's... You know how we were talking about why did... Oh, what's his face pick the Lambo?
What?
Tyrese Gibson picks a Lamborghini when they're driving on ice. And we were like, he's just going to be spinning around.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Turns out that's exactly what he does. And they're like, you're an idiot. What are you doing? Why did you bring a Lamborghini on ice? It's just spinning round and round in circles.
But don't they have like other like cars that are just clearly not designed to be on ice?
There's a tank thing. There's a version of Don's Charger.
But again, like that car, not designed for ice, not even remotely.
You put that Charger on ice, it wouldn't go anywhere.
No.
You couldn't steer it.
No.
Because it's rear-wheel drive, and all that would happen is
it's
you
rear-wheel
turn
drive,
it,
and
nothing would happen.
That particular Charger apparently has enough horsepower to make it do a wheelie from a standing start, which means it's got a shit ton of horsepower, which means that on ice, not going anywhere.
Not doing anything,
Not going anywhere. And then if you're going to modify it, by the time you've done that, you may as well have just bought something that was originally designed to go on ice.
Or just put some, ice
Snow chains.
tyres on
Snow chains on
a Land Rover.
it. Yeah.
I feel like that would probably work better. The opening scenes, not to spoil it too much, they're in Cuba, and Don's giving it the old "wee, I'm hard,"
As he does,
as
yeah.
he does, and his cousin randomly has a car, and it's going to be taken away by this guy. And he's like, no, what are you doing? Why are you taking the car away? And he's like, well, he hasn't paid for it. He hasn't given me the money for it. And he's like, well, you can't just take it away. And in my head, I'm like, yes, he can.
Yeah, he can.
That's exactly what he should be doing,
Yeah.
taking the car away. He's like, I'll race you for it. He's like, right. And then he's like, yeah, I'll race you.
Any sensible person at that point would be like, no.
Yeah. Don's like,
Money is owed.
I'll race you in my car. He's like, no, if you think you can beat me, you race me in his car. And it's a bag of shit, right? I mean, it's like rusty as all hell. And he's like, I can do it. And in my head, I'm like, no, you can't. No. Have you seen that guy's car? No, you're never doing that, Don. Never. And then he starts pulling the doors, the sides, the bonnet off, and I'm like, wait, you're racing for this car, you're pulling it to pieces. And like, not with a screwdriver or anything, he's literally stood in the street pulling the fenders off, and you're like,
Because he's hard.
because he's Don, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he does this cool little trick with the fuel line that's supposed to make it get like extra fuel, and I'm like,
Plugs it into the engine.
yeah. And I'm like, no, this isn't.
That's
No.
the trick with a fuel line to give the engine more fuel is to replace the fuel line and fuel pump. Like that's
No, not according to this. He uses a ring pull. Seriously, a ring pull, and does something with the hose so that he can pull it and give it extra choke later on. I'm like, surely you're just limiting the choke that you've got now, thus making you slower now. It's not going to make any. Anyway, they threw some NOS in it, but it's like Cuban NOS, so it's like it's not really NOS. It's just a bomb.
right.
And they have this race. It's quite a good race. It's not like a straight quarter mile. It's a Cuban mile, so it's all through streets, round cars.
It's not a straight quarter mile, but I thought Dominic Toretto lived his life a quarter mile at a time.
He does. He lived his life 4 times in this. Because he raced the mile, didn't he? And so they're going through the streets, and there's other cars and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And he uses a little trick, and it's getting, he's getting close, and everything's great. Then he uses the NOS, and it pretty much blows up the entire engine, right? It all overheats, and it bursts into flames. He's still driving it. And he's keeping up with this guy in his souped-up car, and I'm like, John's going to love this. And then it gets to a point where, like, the transmission goes, and he's got no more forward gear.
Right.
So obviously, what does he do?
Well, at this point, I presume he puts his feet through the floor of the car and, runs like it's the fucking Flintstones. Yeah.
No, he puts it into reverse, obviously.
How does that work? You'll be going backwards.
He's going, but he goes in. He's like
spins
the
and
car,
puts it into
reverse, right, and then uses the exploding engine as a way to push him past the other matey, right at the line.
How is this the best-selling franchise?
He then jumps out of the car. The car explodes in the sea.
Fucking idiots that like these films.
I loved it.
You're an idiot.
I'm all right with that. It doesn't.
Who's the like? Oh, then why? Hate it. I love to hate it.
I know you do, but you've also seen them all.
Yeah.
That
but
says
only once for each.
That says
film.
a lot more about you than anything else.
Sadomasochism or something.
Yeah, something like that. So then the car blows up and goes in the sea, and I'm like, but what? All right, okay, fair enough. That car's blown
racing
up.
for that car.
Yeah, but then obviously he's won the keys to the other car. The car that he's beat, right?
I thought he was racing for the car that was being taken away.
Well, I must have missed that. So the guy gives him the keys. He's like, "Fair enough, you run fair and square." And Don's like, "No," because he's like, "I respect."
There was a lot of cheating involved with
He was like,
the bending of physics.
I respect what you did. You have my respect. Here's the car. And he's like, "I only ever needed your respect." I'm like, "Take the car, mate." He's offering you a car. What are you doing?
He's letting you keep your own car.
No, he's letting you keep the car that he just built. Beat.
But I thought that was the guy's car.
Wait, what? So you've got his cousin's car, who
You said that he was racing in his cousin's car
Yes.
to keep that car.
apparently to keep that car and to win the other car because he can beat everybody,
Right.
right? But he blows up his cousin's car,
Yeah.
so he's like, "Oh, here, you know."
So then he's but surely the guy that he's racing against, that other car that he's racing in, is also his car already, or has he borrowed that off of somebody else to get his original car back from the cousin?
That's his car.
So he's given his car, like the cousin's car is gone. He then gives his own car to Dom. Dom says,
Yes.
"No, I don't want the car."
Yes.
And the guy turns down keeping his own car.
No. So he goes, "Okay, thanks." Right? And so Don's cousin's left basically without a car. Like, I was just like,
He's just stood there like, "I'll come out of this for nothing."
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I
just
have
like,
the car.
this started with me sort of having the car. I could have probably talked him out of it.
I could have
To
said,
not
"I'd get
only
the
not
petrol."
having the car, you fucking blown it up.
You've blown it up.
It's in the
You dipped
sea.
it in the sea, and I've got nothing out of this.
But then Don obviously turns around and goes, "Oh, go on, have my car." So he gives him his fancy red car that he was driving around because Don has a billion cars.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts. It is ludicrous, but he turns up later.
Yeah.
His story arc is something else. I mean, he's full on hacker now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But even in this one, he's like full on hacker. Him and the girl that's in Game of Thrones and was in Hollyoaks, they're like sitting there like dual hacking, and I'm like, he was in Miami a couple of years ago, sitting on a porch. How, if he had all these skills, why wasn't he doing more?
Why was he not employed?
Yeah. Why didn't he have a fucking job? But Too Fast, Too Furious is quite a long time ago now. Eh?
Yeah.
2003. So that's
14 odd years ago.
So it has given him 14 years to get better with the old
Been
computers.
on a B-Tech course.
Yeah, he's got an MVQ3.
Yeah.
It's not just a 2 in hacking.
Didn't get a distinction in it, but still passed. Still got the certificate.
I mean, you know, barely. He was sick quite a lot.
We're not asking, Ludacris. We just want you to hack. We know that you've got the skills. Just hack the computer for us. We can ask for your life story.
And then my mum was, "But just hack the computer, for fuck's sake. Ludacris, is that your real name?"
Like, in the film, are you called Ludacris?
Are you yourself?
But I love that in that scenario, the character in the film has, like, decided they're in a film and it's not real life.
The real Ludacris actually has an MVQ3 in hacking.
But is in a film that's make-believe, but
Yeah.
the guy in the film that doesn't know that it's a film has now decided it must be a film because Ludacris has. Not only are you not hacking that computer like I told you to, you've made me question my own reality.
And again, what do I write on this bit of paper that tells me that you're a hacker? Is it Ludacris or what?
I've never known a pizza order to be so difficult.
But I mean, it was. There's a right. There's another bit that you will fucking love to hate, and there was in 7 there was this thing called Brother Eye.
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of like can be in charge of everything. Well, the baddies, Charlize Theron and her mateys,
Yeah.
they steal. They steal Brother Eye. Brother
Yeah.
Eye? God's Eye. God's
God,
Eye.
it's all about the CCTV and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
You can hack anything and
Oh, yeah.
give your location on stuff.
It hacks everything, right? You like this one. So they're in New York, tearing through the streets. Now,
Just like in London.
just like in London, I've been in the streets of New York. You can't fucking tear anywhere in New York without it being gridlock.
Yeah.
At least they did that properly in Die Hard with a Vengeance, when he's like, "Let's cut through the park."
Yeah.
Um,
I thought you were going to say with the bit where they called the ambulance to clear a path, but even then, like, doesn't particularly work.
no, it doesn't work that well.
No.
So they're tearing ass through the streets, and Charlize Theron has got God's Eye,
Yeah.
and Dominic Toretto is trying to get away with something because he's gone bad, and you find out why he's gone bad. I'm not gonna spoil why he's gone bad. And then she starts hacking some cars to get in the way. She starts hacking all their auto drive systems, and she must hack a good 100 or so cars.
Right. All of them have got auto.
Yeah. Now,
Auto. Well, most cars come with. I say most cars. Most of those things
brand
are
new
automatic
cars.
parking.
Yes, but these are like.
And then it's quite a high spec car generally to have that.
These are just random cars throughout New York that are driving along la-di-da-di-da, and she's hacking them into auto drive system. So they're like, oh no, and the cars are just driving themselves. Speed,
Right.
everything. Loads of them. To the point that there's one point where an entire floor of a garage, she hacks and drives them all out the side.
Right.
And they all come crashing down to block people out the way, and I'm like, no, probably, maybe if you're lucky, 2 of those cars
Yeah.
on that floor, probably in that garage, that entire garage, have got this auto drive. So I was a little bit like, well, that's nonsense. Then there's a bit where they're like shooting harpoons at Don's car, and they're like playing all this pulley game in the middle of the New York streets. No one seems to be batting an eyelid.
Right.
They don't appear to be causing any problems with the traffic. They're just going along. But it was brilliant. And then there's the whole ice thing, and The Rock basically punches a torpedo. To change its course.
Of course he does. Of course he does. What the fuck?
But you need to watch it, John.
I'm not going to the cinema to watch it. I will watch it when it comes on TV or something. I'm not going to the cinema to see that sort of tripe.
Fair enough. Now, the second film I saw that starred Kurt Russell is a film that I believe you saw this week as well. I don't know why I'm teasing Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I don't know. I don't know why. Why would you not just say
I
you
saw
saw it as
also
well?
saw
It was Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yeah, I saw it on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw it on. Did I see it on Sunday?
You saw it on Saturday?
Saturday night. Yeah, I saw it Saturday night.
Yeah, because I knew you were out because you weren't online.
Yeah.
I was sitting there waiting for you. You never appeared.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was playing Injustice anyway. What did you think?
I enjoyed it. I didn't think that it was as good as the first one, but I did think it was good. Like, I enjoyed it. I felt it wasn't quite as snappy.
Okay.
I thought it was a bit prolonged in places, maybe.
Okay.
Not to the point that I was like, "Oh, I'll get on with it," but just it was slightly slower paced, you know?
You see, it's interesting you say that because for me, I preferred it to the original, and I love the original. The original was my favorite Marvel film.
Right.
Um, so for me, I enjoyed it more, and I feel like I enjoyed it more because it. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one because it's like for me, I think about the first one and I think about that final fight
Yeah.
that goes on way too long.
And ends with the dance off.
I don't mind the dance off. That always made me chuckle. But
Yeah, but
the bit
that
where they're like,
it's gone on for a long time, and that's how you end it.
yeah, yeah. But it's the bit where they're like trying to hold the line, and they're back and forth and back and forth and back. And for me, that bit gets a little bit long. The only thing I will say is I did prefer the soundtrack to the first one.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that definitely
couple
was.
of the tracks were good. Obviously, the Chain, Fleetwood Mac, you can't go wrong.
But then they don't get to like the bit that's famous for the F1 in this
Doom, doo
country.
doo doom, doo 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 doo
Yeah, and
doom,
I
doom.
thought that was really weird that you wouldn't have that bit for
Yeah,
like an action sequence or something in there.
yeah. It does seem like it's the bit that would start them off right before they're about to do the big fight. They're
Yeah.
all just stood there, and it's just like boom, doo 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 doo. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. But the rest of the songs, I felt a little bit. There was, in the first one, you've got Ooh Charge, you've got uh, Ooga Chaka.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just making sounds. You've got obviously um, ABC.
Yeah.
I just felt like the songs in this
I
one
think
aren't as
like
good.
Fleetwood Mac and at the start ELO as well. Like
Yeah,
those were the
that
two
was
best
nice.
songs. Yeah.
That whole beginning, I really enjoyed that beginning part.
I really liked that. I liked the joke that they were fighting this big monster and you don't see any of it because you're just
Don't see
watching
none of it because you're just watching Groot dance.
Groot dance along. Yeah.
Um,
My biggest disappointment with Guardians, and it's not a huge thing, but I was just like, was that Rocket Raccoon didn't have anywhere near as many good lines as he did in the original. There was for me, there was really only the callback to the guy missing the eye when he's like, "You keep that," because
yeah,
when he wakes up, he's gonna be like, "Where's my eye?"
yeah, that was
and
good.
he's not gonna know. But there wasn't anything else of
I
like,
feel like they tried to downplay Rocket's
yeah, you're really,
character because of what they were going for in the story.
yeah. Have you got like a light or something that you can put on? Because you're really dark. I can barely see you. Oh my god! Now I can see. Now it's
No, you
behind you,
can't
and
though.
you're
Now it's
just
behind me, and you
yeah.
can't see anything.
Just-
Hold on, hold on. Ugh.
We're experiencing technical issues. Please stand by.
That's not really
That's
better?
that is better. Too close.
There you
Too
go.
close.
Oh look, I'm just ahead. People can't see this. So,
He didn't have so many, but he still kicked ass, which is good. But he didn't have any of the things of like my favorite line of "So we're all standing up now, bunch of jackasses standing in a circle," and also yeah, I'm so angry that you're making me kick grass.
yeah, yeah.
There wasn't really anything like that, and I just thought it didn't have to be like peppered throughout, but just needed maybe one or two.
I
I mean, maybe there was, and they've just not caught. They didn't catch me as much,
I
but
did like the fact that everyone kept calling him different species, like
yeah,
the fox and the angry panda. That was
the
probably
trash
my
panda.
trash panda. That was it. Um, and I thought Kurt Russell was ace.
Kurt Russell was ace. I was well impressed with the de-aging of Kurt Russell. I was like, he looks so young.
Yeah, they
And
did
it
that.
doesn't look CGI'd.
It didn't look
looks
CGI'd at all.
And I was like, I think maybe that's the best CGI I've ever seen in a film.
In the de-aging process, definitely, because when they did it with what's his face in Tron,
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, um, They didn't do it well
Yeah.
at all.
They did it all right with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the not Genesis, Salvation. That was passable.
I tell you where they did do it well, in Ant-Man with Michael Douglas.
I don't really remember, but okay.
No, he looked good. He just looked like young Michael Douglas. But this was better.
This was like, yeah, this was next level.
This was Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
Levels of amazing. Because he
Yeah.
just looked like Snake Plissken without the eye patch. That fucking flowing hair, man. But I think I liked it because it was quite an internal story as well. It was very much focused on the team and how they feel, as opposed to, obviously they had the big threat going through it as well. But I don't know, man. I quite liked it. I really liked it.
Like, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm
I
getting
think
you
it's
wrong.
good. Oh, how wrong are you getting?
Yeah, no, I think it's, yeah. I kind of want to go and see it again. I mean, I won't.
The thing is,
'cause
I'm wondering
lazy.
if maybe because of I didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy the first time I watched it, and then the second time I watched it, I was like, this is actually really good. I'm such an idiot for not liking it the first time around. And I'm wondering if maybe if
Yeah, that's the
it'll
reason
be
you're
the
an
same
idiot.
thing, but like I'll watch it again, I'll be like, no, yeah, maybe this is the better film.
Actually, maybe Jim was right. Damn, I hate admitting that.
Yeah, so angry, I'm kicking grass right now.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it will relate better to you on the smaller screen.
Maybe.
Maybe. Smaller story, smaller screen.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was a very interesting storyline with Kurt Russell's ego, the Living Planet.
I did like the
how
fact
he was like a god, but not a god, but was a god, and it was like, but was evil and like needed to, but then wasn't evil. Was essentially a living organism that needed to like spread and survive across the galaxy.
but was also did it like a douchebag.
Yeah, did it in a real dickheaded sort of way.
And then just wanted to take over the entire universe. That's what always happens.
And essentially because he was like, I just sort of got bored over the millennia,
Yeah.
so this is what I'm doing.
I'm just going to go around, I'm just going to take over everything, because it just makes sense. It means that I can live for even longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy how they actually did manage to put his face in the planet as well. Like when they were coming in.
Yeah.
And Michael Rooker was great.
Yeah.
Yondu was fucking fantastic in this. I mean, he was great in the first one.
He had the best line. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah. Is he cool? Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, it was good. No, you see, I really enjoyed it. There wasn't a moment where I wasn't entertained, and I think that for me was key.
I thought Chris Pratt was really good again, as he is in films.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with a film.
Is Chris Pratt the new Kurt Russell, maybe? Which would be a neat thing.
I mean, that would be beautiful, wouldn't it? If they wanted to cast, we've said this before, Chris Pratt could be Snake Plissken's son as well. I
think he'd be good as, like, in the remake of
Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Yes, he really would. Oh, yeah, he really would. He would fit that perfectly, playing off against The Rock. Yeah, I would see that. No, I think at the moment, yes. Yes. My fear is that they'll do what they do with a lot of people, and they'll throw him in absolutely everything, and then you'll get sick of him.
Sick and tired.
But he has done a lot of films in the last sort of 5 years, and I'm not sick of him yet.
He's got the charm though to pull it off.
Yeah, and in real life, he's a really nice person, so that always makes a difference. Just like Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See, if I was younger, I'd want to be Chris Pratt, but because I'm older, I want to be Kurt Russell. Either way, I think it's fine. Either way, I'm never going to make it, but
no,
it's good to dream. It's good to
Yeah.
still have a dream at 38.
When I grow up, I want to be Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Or if I somehow reverse the aging process, I will be Chris
If
Pratt.
I Benjamin Button it, I want to be Chris Pratt. You do know he already exists. Yeah.
Do you know that de-aging doesn't make you somebody else that already
It
exists?
just makes you younger when you were more of a dick, if that's even possible. Oh, yeah, it is. It really, really is. Yeah, no, I had a good film week.
Yeah, good for you. Well done.
Thanks, man. We've got Flash and Arrow finales this week as well.
Yeah. Are they this week? Have
They
they
are
really
this
been?
week.
I'm sure I saw. Maybe somebody was watching them in America or something.
Yeah, it was on last night in America. The Flash was. Supergirl was the other night.
Right.
Supergirl finale was all right. It was all right. Superman was in it again.
How's he doing? Is he all right?
I like him. I like who they've put as Superman. I think he does quite a good job.
Good.
Overall, pretty decent. This episode is not going to be a long episode because I'm currently having power issues with my laptop. But we've got probably about another 5 minutes.
Okay.
So what do you want to talk about in our last 5 minutes on the shortest episode we've ever done?
I don't know really. I don't
Okay.
know what to talk about.
There's not really a lot going on. I mean, apart from obviously the horribleness in the world, I don't really want to bring that into the podcast because
No, I'd
I
rather
feel
not.
like we need to just persevere with
Yeah.
goodness, and that's key.
Oh, good news from the other week was that season 5 of Arrested Development's been confirmed.
Yes, I saw that. That's very exciting. Now, do we know if they're going to do it the same way they did season 4, or if they're actually all going to be together?
I don't know. I don't think that's been confirmed. I think it's just been.
Either way, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
Either way, it's still going to be great.
There's did I tell you about this at work? How I've incorporated the Anne Bland thing into work? Because there was a guy that kept. I don't know if I told you this.
No, you didn't tell me this.
There's a guy at work and he's on another team. And it sits about maybe 10, 15 meters away. Like you can clearly see him if you stood up from your desk.
Okay.
And whenever he phones through to transfer a call to our team, he introduces himself like completely. I don't want to give out his full name, but he basically says it's Danny. Like he says his full name, surname as well. He says it's Danny from the Milton Keynes personal injury team. And I'm like, yes, I know who you are. Comes up on the phone. Also, you sit just down
I
there.
can see you.
Yeah, but you say it every single time. So it became a joke in our team of, oh, it's Danny from MKPI.
Yeah.
Like whenever it was mentioned in any way, or if we saw him, we're like, oh, it's Danny from MKPI. But now I've switched it around,
Right.
and it's genius because if I know the joke, I don't think anybody on my team has watched Arrested Development.
See,
So now when they say, I'm just like, don't know who he is. Have I met him?
He was
And
on
what's
the
my
phone.
brilliant is because of his name's Danny, you can shorten it to Dan, and now I've started to say things like, you said I was being a Dan hog. And also, I'm not yet got it in, but I'm waiting for the day to say it's Dan as the nose on plane's face.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, I appreciate it more than anything else.
But I'm just like, I'm saying it and I'm smiling, and they think I'm smiling because they're like, oh, John's playing
Oh,
the
yeah,
ball,
it's
pretending
funny.
he doesn't know who Dan is, and I'm like, also, there's a deeper level to it.
Yeah. You need to. I'm like a fucking onion, bitches. Oh, that's good. I appreciate that. I want to be kept abreast of when you finally get that in. Also, I'd like you to add in him.
Yes. Yeah, I will. Oh, there's so many. Yeah, I could definitely get it in.
And when they're like, yeah, he's really good. Well, let's hope so. um,
Yeah, that's another one because of people like they are, like people do say about like him being a nice guy and everything. I'm like, okay, hope so.
let's hope so. Amazing. And if you can, this one's a little bit out of left field. May and egg.
I don't,
Not
yeah,
sure how you're getting that one in, but there
I
you
don't know
go.
how I'll do that, but I
Everybody's
will
got to
try
have
my
a challenge
damnedest.
in life. Do you know
The
what I
other
mean?
brilliant thing is because of the company that I work for is very corporate. I enjoy getting in lines from Futurama with the 80s guy that takes over Planet Express
Nice.
and doing the whole thing of blank, blank, you're not looking at the bigger picture. Don't you worry about blank, let me worry about Planet Express. And the best one that I've got in so far that really made me chuckle was, believe it or not, I've got better things to do than laugh and clap my hands. Reschedule it.
Amazing. That's really good. I'm impressed. You've impressed me. It takes me a lot for me to be impressed.
It takes the thing is,